My father, Jerome Tiger, is world-renowned for what he did in Indian art. He invented a style of Indian art that was not done before, and he made usage of colors that weren't used before in Indian art. In fact, the colors that they cleaned the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo's colors after they cleaned, the ceiling, were pastel colors, beautiful. They, for years nobody thought that was what they were. They were brownish tones, and when they cleaned it, it was beautiful, light pastels. My dad used that in Indian art, and he had a revolution in art because people were wanting to collect his work, and he was so young and so brilliant. Could do anything. He could sculpt, he could box. He was the best boxer. He was gorgeous, handsome, and had charisma, and everybody loved him. And he was a genius in art.
He's a sculpture artist. He competed all over the country and was not allowed to compete in some because his art was so different, and he'd always win. The style was completely different from the other competitors. He was put into his own category a lot of times.
He could paint pretty much anything, and it's extremely fast, and his art's just all over the place. So that's really inspiring too. I had a painting that I did that was based off of kind of his style too, a picture I did of Aiden.
That's where we all came from. If my father wasn't, if things didn't, go down as they did with him being just naturally gifted, naturally driven to do artwork, the rest of us wouldn't be artists, of course. We've got it in our blood, and we got our art creativity and ability from him. He had photographic memory, so anything he wanted to portray, he could portray. No sweat, like no big deal at all. He drew with his left hand, he drew with his left foot, just for fun, because he's showing off, He was influential to many artists. I travel all over the country and been overseas, but here in North America, artists have told me that my dad was what made them become an artist. My dad's hand was he was just so fast. He said, it's just unbelievable. My mom said it was like a blur, it's moving so fast to create. My dad's work is in private collections around the nation and world. His only sculpture that was made into a bronze that did not get completed because he passed away in August of 1967. That sculpture, one and only, is out at the Five Tribes Museum in Muskogee. It's a stunning, stunning art to behold. My dad died when I was so young, and Uncle stepped in and kind of forced us to do art as we were growing up. We didn't have a choice, we had to do it. Uncle loves art. He collected other Native artists, and his collection of art, extensive. He loved art. My dad and mom had 3 children. I'm the oldest. I was born in '61. My brother's full name is Jerome Christopher Coleman Tiger, and he was named for my dad, Jerome, and then our grandfather, great-grandpa, Coleman Lewis. And Chris was for his name, and he was a fine artist and 22 years old when he passed away. He has his own style, as each one of us in the family do. He painted from the young male point of view, Native male, Creek Seminole, Cherokee, and he depicted the world as a young Creek Seminole Cherokee man would. He played football, he boxed, he was gorgeous, and everybody loved him. So his art, we're just thankful that we have so many of his pieces. I became an artist when I was 24 years old. I painted as a child and entered art shows and won a lot of awards and stuff. I was not pursuing art as a career or anything like that. I drank and behavior that wasn't gonna be good for the future. So at 24, I needed to make a change. I promised myself that I would do art every day for a year and see what would happen. So from that point on, I never quit, and things, that was the best decision I could have ever made. It was what I was meant to do. To tell my story as a Native American woman, that's what I do with my art. I didn't start out knowing that that's what I was going to do, but that's what I did. At that time when I made the decision to be an artist, it was either that or the alternative was could have been very dangerous. So art is my life and was the life of my dad, my uncle, now my children, So it's more than just, a painting or creating a painting, it's our life. I got Parkinson's. I didn't know if I'd be able to paint, so I thought I might have to change my style. So I started trying to do brushwork that was more flowing and stand backish instead of being right on top of the artwork. I can't believe that I'm still able to paint, detailed faces. I had 2 children, Christy and Leeson, and both of them are artists, and my grandson is amazingly already an artist.
He's just 3, but he goes crazy with it. I don't even pick his colors or anything. Well, so far the paintings he's done really good with the colors and some abstract, neat design that I like. I just hand him a big old set of colors and he just goes to town. And so far they've turned out really cool looking. That'd be cool if he was to continue painting too.
He sold his first work at 2 years old, his first watercolor, for $100. Oh my God. I think it's because his name is Jerome Tiger. But also, it's a good piece of work, too.
And that's one of his.
Look at this. Look, the color is great. I mean, it's amazing. This little dude just picked up the brush and acted like he knew what was going on. I imagine that's how Daddy was, considering how great, he got. So I'm gonna keep my eyes on that boy. My son got the gift that Dad had, but in sculpture. And so I know that he's got that ease of being able to create, because even when he doesn't have clay in his hands, when he was growing up, he would mold the air somehow. It seemed like to me. I'd watch him, and he'd be moving his hands.
I didn't start out as a sculpture artist. I was first a painter like them, but discovered I could do something else, so I stuck with that. I like to sculpt animals, and I like to do commissions.
I bought her a notebook when she was 2 years old and a pencil, because I was kind of broke at the time. So I just bought, everybody made fun of me too for buying this spiral notebook and this pencil. But I swear from that day forward, that girl you never see her without the notebook and the pencil. She drew every day of her life. So she taught herself.
I paint for a living, acrylic, gouache, watercolor, variety of different things like that. I paint women, and I try to do more modern, fashionable women. I get to use my imagination and bring it onto canvas as the best I can, and I like being able to see nowadays that that my art is, I can see it growing now. For a long time it took me a while to see that, but I'm finally seeing like the progress I'm doing in my art, and I like the way it's going these days. Just letting people know that we're here and that, still going strong, and I'd like to think with my art too that, if someone might be inspired to say like, oh, that looks cool, I'll maybe check out what else this has to do with. I do use traditional patchwork designs on my work, and so I use it loosely based off of the old designs and dresses and stuff like that. I try to make it as eye-catching as possible, and I'm really trying to focus on details and designs nowadays. I used to be more vague about it, and I didn't use quite as much patchwork, but I really want to focus on the details. And so, if someone would be interested in seeing that, I put a lot of work into this, and someone, would be willing to check out the Creek side of it. I've looked up old, like the same way that I looked up old Creek traditional attire, and I kind of did my own twist on it and made it my own colors and designs. But for the most part, for the same thing with those, the patchwork is all based on actual patchwork, and it's loosely based on actual Creek old-fashioned attire.
We are creative people. Our Native people have a story to tell. We have different ways that we've lived, and we know things that the rest of the world should maybe listen to, because it has to do with health and wellness and listening to the plants and knowing medicines, and so we're all in this together. So that's what I've seriously got to take care of and learn more, because I've got Parkinson's and I'm doing quite well. I've had it for a long time, but I want to be better, and I'm going to get better, because I believe that there's a way to get better. Help the young ones coming up to see that it's possible to live your life as an artist, because we've got a unique way of looking at things, and we have a message to share, about being healthy and living healthy.
Native American art is always could use help from public recognition to branch out more and grow more. And I'd like to thank my mom's attempts to make Native American art more prevalent in the U.S. As one step. I want to keep the Tiger family staying successful, and I want to help my mom achieve her goal of making the Tiger family art more out there and help the Native American community.
My life is looking really good, because I've got so many goals I want to see happen. And they've been happening, but when you get an illness that slows you down, whatever, everybody deals with everything, but I got to learn how to use my time so I can make the most impact. So when I feel good, I go. But I've got a whole heck of a lot of important stuff I'm doing, and I will pray that it can happen. So that's what I want to spend the rest of my life molding for the next generations.